Today we will build a new desktop computer. So many large parts, they do not even fit on the screen. This video will be longer than I expected. Just use timecodes. It is the last time when I make such a long PC build. And a huge box, mid-tower case with industrial design. Motherboard to interconnect everything with each other. Brand new latest CPU from Intel. 64 gigs of very fast DDR5 memory. GPU for work and productivity. Water cooling. Power supply to give electricity. Fast M2 storage. And case. Let's put everything together. But before that, I want to make myself a herbal tea. Econium, or how we call it, head pain. Toxic flower, be careful. These nights I had a bad sleep and felt head pains. It will help me to deal with it. A Herichrysum arenarium, or how we call it, immortalic. It is not a medical advice, but this tea is well known in our Russian Vedic culture for aeons. One pinch is more than good enough. Good anti-inflammatory and coloretic effect. It will take some time to fuse. I will put it aside for now. Let's start. It is ASRock Z890 Legend Wi-Fi. Motherboard is the first step in the desktop computer construction. It defines our choice of platform that we want to use and conducts everything together. It is the main body, nerve and blood veins of our system. Do not forget to check all the packages and wires. Sometimes you can miss very important component and forget it after. There are big reasons why I chose this board specifically. Look at this beauty. Not very edgy, but minimal and industrial. There is a socket for a 5th gen M2 SSD and additional 3 ones for 4th gen. Plenty enough for storage. A very powerful VRM zone with large metal radiators to power up CPU and overclock memory. But most importantly, it has 2 Thunderbolt version 4 ports. I use lots of fast external storage and need good connectivity. Thunderbolt and at least 3.2 Gen 2 ports. No need to buy additional, very expensive expansions. The build that I will construct right now will blast any game with ease, but it will be a very powerful productivity workstation also. I plan to use it for video editing, photo and 3D rendering. It had this decoration as bonus. A branded K for a keyboard. Very important, it has Wi-Fi 7 for fast Ethernet for fast online and local signals. And antennas are compact, no need for weird wired handling dongles. The manual says to be careful not to peel out memory electric current protection. Quick installation guide. If you are new to computer parts, do not be shy to read it. It really can help. I suggest not to miss that step. Next, a CPU. It is the brain of our body to calculate subconscious thoughts. Intel Ultra 7 270K Plus. Now, let's connect it to the motherboard. In the top middle we can see the socket and the holder. This is easy to open, just press and slide to the side. The black plastic cover is just a temporary protection. It will be removed. Inside the socket we can see myriads of small metal spines. Electricity goes through CPU from these pins. It is in the OEM package. This way it is 20 to 30% less expensive. CPU has small metal plates. They need to touch the pins from the socket. All reviewers told that this is one of the best crystals for work. We need to place CPU into a cradle. There is an error somewhere, usually on the holder or plastic protection. You need to match error on the CPU with error on the socket. Now if we try to close the holder, the plastic part will pop off, or you can manually remove it. Be gentle, damage and bending can break it. Will be hard or impossible to fix it. Do not be afraid to press, just make sure that CPU is placed the right way. Next, I like to insert an M2 storage, a part to store our precious memories. It is Jupiter, 4th gen speed, very fast. I don't see any reason to go for the 5th gen right now. This one is 4 terabytes, the minimum amount that I need for my work and daily life. And Gen 5 disk would be 1 terabyte, for the same price. I need to remove this metal radiator. That keeps the disk cool. Underneath there is a thermal pad. I need to remove protective film, otherwise temperatures can be high. The same goes for the bottom pad.
Hey, when do you think you'll notice that camera is out of focus?
I love that ASRock has quick remove system. I do not need to unscrew anything, just press and go. Let's place a radiator back. And do the same to the second one. I'm using these Thunderbolt 4 metal enclosures. Inside is the same Gen 4 M2 disk. Before the price increase, I was managed to find 4000 gigs for as little as $170. I already have lots of files on it. I will use it to store my work projects. Put the metal plate back. That's all. We have already installed a CPU, 2 M2 storage disks, with just couple of clicks. Nice. Next step, a GPU, a visual cortex of our body. I have an Nvidia RTX 4070 Ti Super, 16 gigs. It is not the latest and greatest, but it punches way above its weight. 16 gigs is the bare minimum that I want for video editing and 3D work. Metal holder for vertical connection. Take a look at that. It has a lot more CUDA cores than even latest RTX 5070, and noticeably faster than it in some working programs. The performance is more close to 5070 Ti. Some additions in the box. This card uses 12-pin connector that theoretically can provide up to 600 watts of power. This cord adapter is needed for power supplies that do not have new 12-pin plug. 3D printed weight support. This card is kinda large and heavy. I want to show something. It is Nvidia GTX 1660 Super. Look at the size difference. It is so small in comparison. And this 4070 is not the biggest one. Imagine how 4090 or 5090 will be. Let's put it aside for now. Before we go further, it is 64 gigs of DDR5 memory from Corsair, Titanium first edition. A buffer cortex in the brain of our body, something without which no the CPU nor the GPU will work. It is very fast. Out of the box, it supports a second XMP profile of 6800 microtransfers with CL32 timings. In the box there is an RGB module. I have to choose RGB or additional metal radiator for cooling. The choice is obvious. RGB Rainbow gives 33% boost in gaming. A joke, of course. I will use metal radiator. In my opinion, it even looks better. I'm going for a stealthy industrial style. Now, I want to discuss something. In 2026, the cost for RAM is insane. Those two models cost me more than my not cheap in the first place RTX 4070 Ti Super GPU. Considering that I found the cheapest offering and still of a deal that I had to fight for, it is unbelievable. The price for this should be $250 maximum. By the way, here I have a stick of DDR1, whopping 400 microtransfers and CL3. And here is DDR3, also from Corsair. The whole pack of 16 gigs cost me $20. $1,600 speed, CL9. $6,600 speed is a first XMP. Incredible how far we went from DDR1 to DDR5. Especially in terms of price. It is way too much that it is a lot more expensive than a GPU, the most expensive part in my whole build. But soon we will see DDR6 and even DDR7 and 8, be sure. I will try to overclock it. It has Hynix A-die modules and capable of reaching 8000 so-called MHz. It is very important to place it in only 2 slots with a gap between each other. When we use all 4 slots, CPU struggles and performance goes down. To make it go up, I need to use only 2 slots. Usually there is a guide near slots. I need second and first. This way, the frequency won't disturb or cancel each other and won't interfere with CPU signals. Before we continue to insert a RAM sticks without which won't work anything in the system, CPU, GPU, I want to explain that I love to test the system before the final build. This step is optional. I need to somehow cool the CPU to avoid thermal damage. Let's connect the RAM. You need to hear clicks. It is very easy. If it feels hard to press in, do not force it. Take a look at the gap in the connector. Turn it the opposite way if the side is wrong. I will test the system so I can bring back bad parts for the seller if something is not right. If CPU has integrated graphics or motherboard allows, I can connect monitor even without a GPU. I will put Nvidia away for now. For the cooling, I have a Liquid Freezer 3 Pro, non-RGB. The latest and largest 420mm AIO from Arctic. One of the best on the market. It is huge and heavy. 42 centimeters, and Nvidia GPU 32. Some metal parts and anchors. It looks very pleasing, toned down and mature. This is what makes RTX special. Additional pump fan on top of the CPU. It can cool VRM and RAM. Let's put it on Intel processor. These two metal parts are for AMD CPU. And this large plate is for Intel. I will put a foam sheet to support CPU socket metal backplate and for safety. This way nothing will fall off. I have to fully unscrew CPU socket holder. Everything in the computer needs to be done gently. I will untie the pressure uniformly and diagonally to prevent too much stress and deformations. It comes off easily, and backplate underneath of motherboard will be placed between the foam. I need these black screws. The same logic, do not tighten it in one go. Do this in multiple steps, diagonal lines. And do not over-tighten it with maximal force. The board plate should not bend and deform. It is more than good enough if you start to feel some resistance. I will use more comfortable magnetic screwdriver. Here is the backplate, into which I was tightening the screws. Keep the old holder for the future. The best way to have a liquid cooler is in this orientation with tubes in the bottom. But the most important part is to have pump below the highest point in the loop. Everything other is just optional. I like to degrease the CPU surface. I have a vodka for that. In the box there was a thermal paste, MX7. The paste is needed for better contact of the cooling metal plate. For better adhesion, I love to spread it manually. MX7 is too dense. Viscosity is high, very hard to apply it this way. Everything sticks to the shovel. This tube is so small, I feel that it won't be enough. Such viscosity is by design. This way, paste won't be pressed away from the cooler with time. I need to apply lots of force to make it work. It was pain. I recommend to place it as cross or straight lines away. Just put it as cross or lines, and cooler's metal plate will press and spread it naturally. So, I will put vodka away. And remember,
Водка внутри, а снаружи бутылка.
But bottle is for the outside.
it is not for drink. Important, I need to remove a film from the metal pads to avoid temperature increase. I begin to tighten, and when I feel that I need to apply a lot more force to continue, I just stop. This fan is magnetic. To connect the cooler, I need a cable. I can choose the single one for the uniform control of the speed, or triple cable split to control the speed of the pump and fan separately. I'm choosing triple cable. I love more agency. I forgot that you need to plug it before placing it on the CPU for built-in cable management. But I will find a workaround. There is nothing wrong in it. It has 3 pins connection. All 3 are located near the RAM on this motherboard. What we have at this point: installed CPU, RAM, 2 storage disks, 1 for system, 1 for files, and water cooling is connected. The last ingredient: to animate this machine with electrical current, I bought a power supply. 1200 watts, 80 plus platinum certificate. To be sure that every component has enough power with such a powerful CPU and power-hungry GPU, although it is not the most hungry one. I could use supply with less wattage, but I recommend to buy one that has a lot more room than you need. This block is fully modular, and I can choose what cables will be connected. We will need a long 24-pin motherboard cable. double 8-pin cables for a CPU. Maybe I will need 4-pin Molax for fans. Not sure, just in case. Very important, 12-pin cable for a GPU. It won't use 600 watts, but needs such connection. The main cable to plug it into wall. Very important, do it until clicks. Double check it. Especially with GPU 600 watts 12-pin. I am serious. Read the manual. It is not hard. Sometimes supply will have the guide. And read all the text on the motherboard. Carefully read all the documentation if you are doing this for the first time. But it is hard to mess things up. There is a foolproof protection. You cannot plug it in if it is facing the wrong direction. You cannot plug it in where it does not belong. All pins have different shapes for safety. Do not stress too much, but still be careful and double check. If something is not going in, do not push it with force. Light pressure. But you must hear the clicks. The longest 24-pin goes in here. It will charge the motherboard. Eight-pin CPU goes on top. I will connect HDMI cable to see if it boots on my screen. Connecting power supply to the outlet. I see the board shines different lights. Good sign. But to turn on the computer in this state, I need a button. Usually such a button is inside a computer case. I have such from my old one. I'm using it just for the testing. Usually the white cable goes to the right, or the text facing down. But it depends on the board. Read the text in the manual or near the plug. So that's it. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Whoa. At first I was afraid. I thought water was leaking. So noisy pump sounds. And good news. I can see at least something on the screen. To check if I can boot into the BIOS, I need mouse and keyboard. But something there. Oh. If I press a button, nothing responds. System is frozen. No reaction. Do not panic. We need to flash our BIOS. There is nothing hard. I need a USB drive with FAT32 file system, with firmware file on it. On this ASRock board I need to insert the flash drive in USB. Hold BIOS button for 3 seconds, while power is off. but power supply is turned on. And just wait for the magic to happen. Each manufacturer has a guide on the web, just follow it. BIOS is up to date. I will also connect GPU to see if it responds. GPU is large, I need to be careful. Twelve pin goes inside. HDMI into the GPU. Hey, it works! LGBT plus lights are shining. And yes, it's alive! It's alive! Alive! I can see the CPU name. DDR5 memory is intact, both 4TB storages, fans and pump. Oh, yes, 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 yes. I will detach everything and let's put it inside the case. A large box of a case. It can't fit in the frame. Wow, just take a look at that. It has lots of room for fans. It can fit 420mm radiator. Keep in mind that the amount of fans is not important, but the airflow. It must go freely, without obstructions. Less is more in this situation. I love this front panel. Looks like it is a real wood with coating. Very industrial, minimalistic, but still natural and cozy. Triple fans on the front. I need to remove them to replace with liquid cooling. One of the fans will be on the bottom and will blow the air inside the case. I will change back fan to move air also inside the case. And AIO triple fans will blow it outside. One fan will be on the top and will also blow air outside the case. And second top fan will suck the air inside. Air will be moved from bottom, back and top back to the front and to the top front in one direction. It is not the meta way. Internal components won't be affected by the CPU, and the CPU won't be toasted by the GPU in any meaningful way. Top fans will cool CPU, VRM, DDR5 memory, and water pipes at the same time. Let's put the motherboard inside, very carefully. I like to sort all the needed screws to type and size. It It's not an easy task to put 420mm large AIO on place. I'm unplugging memory sticks for more room. It just refuses to go in. To fit it, I had to unscrew bottom fan. It is the only way. Bottom AIO fan is also impossible to fit. I had to take off middle one first. Tetris games. I totally forgot the anti-vibration pads. This fan has them only on the one side. Easy fix, just tear them off. But be very slow. This way you won't have white glue left as I have here. Now it will be slightly more quiet. AIO radiators will be tightened from the front outside. On the back side of the case, there is a cable management canals and clips. This way it will be way more organized. Can't believe that this case were only $35. I love it! This is a central hub for the case fans. They all are connected to this and are charged from one single cable. Before we connect the last bottom fan, I want to install power supply to see where to fit the fan. All the cables I will try to run through these openings and clips, and will connect all the case fans to this hub. This way all the wires will be on the one invisible side. The air will freely go inside. There is a fan inside the power supply, and the air will come inside the case. I want all the cables to be accurately hidden, clean and minimal. Bottom fan will go underneath metal mesh. There are arrows on every fan. They will show you the airflow direction. I want it to go up. So I'm almost done. Everything is on place. All main wires and cables are on the back. Slips are holding them hidden and sorted. Now I want to tie them in more compact branches. It's done. Nothing sticks. Now I will just plug all small and little connectors for buttons, front audio, fan hub, also small speaker and thermal sensor. Totally forgot this cable to power up fan hub. It is a lot harder to connect it when power supply is already on place. Everything is done. Power supply will blow air inside up. Second fan also. Back fan will suck air inside the case. Top back blows air inside the case. Top front blows hot air outside. And the AIO moves air outside. Let me bring DDR memory back. And hello, Nvidia graphics card. It uses 3 seats of lane. Need to unscrew them. Make sure that you are plugging it in the X16, fastest slot. GPU weight support. Final touch, connecting Wi-Fi 7 antennas. Yes, beautiful and clean, minimalistic industrial design. What is the body without a soul? I will install a soul in the face of Windows 11. Immediately will debloat it with Debloat Master. I will turn off all the telemetry, spine mechanisms, Copilot, Cortana, and whole bunch of AI slop crap. I will install all what is needed. Let's test it inside working apps and see what this device is capable of. Was all the reviewers true about this Intel, beating everyone else in productivity tasks? And also play some games. How will this desktop hold up against slim and portable laptops? Now it is time to drink my tea. Please remember, it is just my first impressions. The whole very in-depth, real alien computer testing will be conducted soon. If you want to see it faster and support my hard work, you can join the Patreon membership. Seekers Level Squad can download all in-depth documentation and files a lot faster than I am physically able to edit and produce such videos. Thank you, my friends, for your support. It is the only reason why such videos exist. Let's go and see the results of my first impression testing. I will try to optimize, undervolt and overclock it if possible. I have managed to manually tweak the RAM from 6600 CL32 at 1.4 volts to 8000 CL36 at 1.5 volts. Amazing! I love this RAM! With 7933 microtransfers, I was able to make the system a lot more stable and greatly tweaked and reduced subtimings. There is a massive 62% increase in write speed, 55% increase in read speed, and 47% in total system latency compared to 4800 JEDEC settings. 200S boost, Intel's feature, does not work with anything higher than 1.4 volts for RAM. So I just set NDU and D2D ratios manually to 32. I was able to run it with X34. But such overclocked memory is tough, and I decided to choose stability and reliability over 0.5% theoretical benefits. What about GPU? MCI Afterburner was failure. All my attempts to undervolt it for better clocks and thermals led only to worse performance. Sometimes I get up to 10% difference with it, but not in this case. Looks like the reason is that it is already overclocked from the factory. And Afterburner just messes it up. PNY has its own app called Velocity X. I can control lots of stuff in there. Let's check it. Automatic overclocking button called OS Scan. Let's press it. And I was not very pleased. I have manually set plus 180 to cores and 2000 to memory. And this is what I have in the end. 7933 microtransfers memory with very tight subtimings, 200 MHz CPU bus increase, 182 cores and 2000 to memory on GPU. TimeSpy CPU tests show the 30% boost that you can theoretically see in some games and apps under certain conditions, compared to baseline chip memory. Looks massive. But saying all that, 99% of you in more than 90% of programs and games will see literally no difference. Do not think too much about RAM. Just buy anything higher than 4800 JEDEC, 6000 plus with OK timings, and you are set to go. For most people, memory will give nothing at all in all scenarios. I will make a separate video and show you the results with slow memory and slow timings, compared to faster XMP profiles and ultra-optimized manual tweakings at 8000 microtransfers. Do not waste money on abnormally expensive RAM from artificial inflation. Prices will go down soon, and we are on the edge of DDR6 and DDR7. Capture One, photo expert, very huge, almost 10% boost, but it is 0.6 seconds. Lemao. It is pure GPU overclock, has nothing to do with memory. Blender, I was able to get 1.5% and 5.6% increase. But if you look closely, it is only 0.2 seconds. And whopping 3 seconds cut. Nice. And it comes only from GPU overclock. Memory does nothing here also. Davinci Resolve video editing. Here I see a very nice boost. With overclocking, I can see better basic performance. But with more workload, it becomes irrelevant. Increase comes from GPU. Compared to stock settings and 6800 CL32 XMP profile on memory, in Crysis Remaster, I have a 5% boost in 4K Ultra, 2% boost in 2K Ultra, and less than 1% in 2K Low. Again, GPU overclocking. There are some games that will see memory overclocking boosts, but this one is not it. Half-Life 2, Lost Coast. It is very CPU intensive. And at 4K, I see nice 7.6% boost in GPU performance. Nothing mind-blowing, but I will use these tweaked hardware settings for these first impressions and future in-depth real alien computer testing. Let's start! My main goal is to see is it worth it to switch from my slim and powerful, very convenient laptops. synthetic games, 3D Mark Wildlife, and whoa, 40% boost and almost 60% boost in 4K Extreme. My 5070 Ti Ultra laptop has only 62% of the desktop's powers. Mind-blowing results. Spoilers for the future video, but this $200 desktop build on 3770 Intel and GTX 1660 Super is not bad at all, considering that it came in 2012. And very cheap $200 laptop for some reason was not able to start. By the way, Apple's M1 Pro 14 is worse than Xiaomi smartphone. Lamau. Solar Bay. Nice stress to a GPU. And whoa, I like what I see right now. I hope that it will go like this further. And I will regret buying the first devices even more and losing more than $1,000 on the resale. Xiaomi smartphone is on the heels of Apple's M1 Max. Lol. Playing games is cool and dandy. We will discuss real games further in this video. Let's talk about work and productivity first. Will I see massive boost, or was all this hard work for building desktop a mistake? 3D work, Blender, render, Alien Spheres. Oh my Overlord! More than 3 times the difference. Even faster than Bint Mobile 4090. I won't even talk about 3300% of difference compared to my poor old Apple's MacBook M1 Pro 14. It is literally like having 33 MacBooks, 33 times faster. I am in 3D, low poly heavens. Particles simulation. Low level, easy test, CPU workload. And yeah, I see. Honestly, after watching reviews like Hardware Unboxed, I expected more, maybe, like a lot. Okay, there is a difference, but I expected Intel Ultra 7 270K plus, brand new 2026, latest and greatest workload beast, to completely annihilate any CPU workload. But 12% boost compared to my laptop is actually impressive. But impressive for a laptop. Not gonna lie, this test made me want to sell my beautiful build ASAP. But it is only low-level test. I have medium and hard levels. Maybe over there we will see the difference in the future. Video composing and VFX. My most favorite and most confusing in terms of performance app. It is a complete mess on lower level tests, and I tried it on 2025 and 2026 versions. It is what it is. That's why I will always say, synthetic benchmarks will never show you true performance that you will get. Imagine spending all this money to get similar or even worse performance to a small, teeny tiny Zephyrus G14 or outdated MacBooks. But more hard tests will show a twist. Subscribe, my friends. I will make a huge battle in the future. Stabilization and 3D camera track of a clip is more logical. But again, not what I was expecting to see. Stabilization is even 15% worse than on my laptop. Also on Intel CPU, by the way. Even 2020, GTX 1650 and Ryzen is not bad if you look only on time spent. It is obviously almost 2 times slower. After Effects left me unimpressed. Video editing, Davinci Resolve, timeline playback. Whoa, it is the first device that I own that gives smooth 60 FPS on my basic test on full resolution. Even G16 on Mobile 4090 struggled with lags. Mobile 5070 Ti has huge level 4 lags, and all others have freezed the playback after couple frames. Unfortunately, with workload increase, the difference becomes irrelevant. Even more if you are willing to lower playback resolution to 1/4. That way, you can even use M1 MacBooks. Somewhat. For some reason, all devices can't play back anything serious in Davinci with effects like noise reduction and voice isolation. But with Project Export, situation changes a little bit, and even all devices can do the job, if you will be able to work around the playback. Difference from this build is huge and noticeable. 44%. I love it. This project is only 2 minutes in length. Some of my projects can be rendered for 10 hours. And sometimes I have to do it multiple times. So, saving 8 hours in total each time I need to render my large project cannot be valued by anything, thanks to Nvidia GPU. stabilization of a clip. It is not pure CPU work, but uses the processor a lot. And again, why am I seeing only 5% increase compared to laptop? M1 Max is not far behind also. Synthetic CPU benchmarks are not a total BS, but something on that lines. Audio editing, Audacity, track noise reduction. Why my brand new CPU is 2% slower than laptop? Huh? And whoa, it is 2.6 times faster than my 14 years old Intel. What? Dolby Audition, Music Remix. What the frick? Literally the same performance as M1 MacBooks. Who is to blame? Hardware? Adobe? Or maybe Windows? Who knows? I understand one thing, everything is not as it seems. Music creation, my beloved and favorite app that I use for all my music. And situation with music is simple. Just literally buy anything that is not 20 years old and you are set to go. Maybe if you push third-party VST to its limits, you can sort of feel it. But get it done and good from the microphone for vocals. 12 and 7% boosts is nothing mind-blowing. I would rather have thin and light device to work on the go. Photo editing. 63% more. 226% more than mobile 4090. Something wrong is going on G14, and in some way on the 2020 $200 HP laptop. I triple-checked. GPU had 100% utilization in the task manager. I was tired wasting time on that. True anomaly. But they both are using Ryzen CPU. Maybe that is the reason? But who cares? Let me zoom in a little bit. This HP makes this hard to read. 50 megapixels medium format and full-frame RAW files. Amazing performance. We can only guess what will happen with 100 megapixels ultra-large medium format. But only you can guess. At the moment of uploading this video, I will already know this. Photoshop. HDR panorama stitching. CPU and RAM heavy tests. Yeah, 20% boost. Get a checkmark. Boring checkmark. Anything faster than 14 years old device desktop and $200 HP that you can buy it for in 2026 will give you a big boost. Image upscaling in Topaz Photo AI. Low-level tests, 1K resolution. On this level, bad CPU can be a bottleneck. 2020 HP will annoy us as well. It is 2100+% boost, 21 times the difference. Let me fix the charts. Nice solid 50% boost compared to my 2025 5070 Ti mobile laptop. You will get similar difference to Asus Scars, Lenovo Legions and others. I am pleased, especially after G16 on 4090. Intel 185H drags it to the bottom. Video upscaling. HP, why are you ruining my charts? Will you do this every time? Masya,
Yes.
can you fix it to us? Preferably quicker.
Alright. Alright. No need to stress me.
Thanks, better now. 50% boost. It is my GPU test. RTX 4070 Ti Super with 16 gigs of VRAM with 50% boost shows why desktop can be your choice. And today, 16 gigs of VRAM is an entry-level joke. I am sick and tired of 12 gigs in 2026. We'll not even talk about 8 gigs. Spoilers alert, some devices will fail some tests because of it. But let the ultra-corporate greed not upset us. I will hope for the best. We continue. AI Stable Diffusion Image Creation. Now, M1 Pro 14-inch MacBook is playing on my nerves. Stop. Other than that, performance is very similar. SD 1.5 is very lightweight, easy test, very optimized and works good on even all devices. Crazy to see that image can be generated in only 1 second. Apple continues to jump scare me, and now HP, even M1 Max, SDXL is more hard test. Let me squeeze this chart for the universe's sake. Ooh, it is still a total mess, but I can at least see. SDXL is a lot more nice model, Big step up from SD 1.5. And imagine, 4 seconds to build an image. Freaking insane. Very impressive, would I say, if not the difference between my laptop, the absence of it, to be specific. 1500 pixels is for the most part goes above model's limits. But GPU gives 31% boost. Will accept any GPU juice as much as possible. I want to test a hardware via coding, Python, my CPU tests. And from the beginning of time, Intel and AMD x86 and x64 platforms on Windows are worse in prime finding algorithms. You can see abnormal performance from everyone, except Apple's on ARM. And unfortunately, Intel's 270K Plus have not yet improved this situation. Let me zoom in to see arithmetic and fractal construction. I have 3 level tests, hard, medium and easy. This is easy level, and I see nothing to be impressed, plus minus the same, 10% better in prime. Maybe harder level tests will make this 2026 Intel shine? But hey, at least I got rid of $3,000 plus G16 with Intel 185H. Imagine spending $5,000 on it. I will skip C++ and Java coding tasks. Otherwise you will hear me babbling all day long. But I want to see some OpenCL real image generations. DNA Mandelbrot Fractal and Galaxy are more CPU heavy, while Soul, Buddhabrot and Matter 3D Mandelbulb leans more towards GPU. Yes, it is easy level test, but where is performance? Maybe if I hyper-optimize the code, use dedicated platform-specific GPU tricks, I can get better results, but honestly I expected more. 5 to 10% difference from my laptop. Can't imagine any coding sessions or any work in general without browsing. Whole system stability test via Speedometer 3.1. But with a twist. Additional system torture and load, and extra open tabs and programs. 16 to 17% boost. Nice. And almost 4 times compared to my 14 years old $200 desktop build. I won't show Brave, Opera, Yandex and Firefox today, for the sake of time savings. Any boost in system snappiness and smoothness during browsing is appreciated. Game development. Unreal Engine 5. Small indie project package. I'm not sure that Apple's on macOS is a fair run, because I'm compiling the build for its own platforms. Windows for Windows and Macintosh for Macintosh. File system is different, but maybe it is the same workload. I do not know for sure for now, but whatever. Just keep this in mind. I am tired of HP. Let's make it more sane. 20 to 25% boost from Yaoshi. And massive 200% boost from G16. I am not a big fan of Intel Ultra 9 185H. I feel like you've already guessed it. And viewport FPS is 17% more. Okay. G16 cannot keep up, honestly. Building games is cool and dandy, but let's actually try and play them. Real games. Devil May Cry 4. Yo! Immediate CPU bound across the board on this Intel build. Even on 1440p on Ultra. Insane! So much so that even ultra expensive G16 on mobile 4090 is a lot more worse than more budget-friendly G14. Intel 185H is something with something. But this video is not about laptops. It will be in my Laptominator 1 and 2, the Judgment Day, soon. Let's see 4K. And even at 4K, we are CPU bound on low settings on this desktop build. Crazy to think that this game was considered a next-gen not so long ago, and looks very beautiful even today, honestly, and very hyper-optimized at the same time, and can be run even on a toaster and potato. Very nice benchmark for integrated GPUs and CPU stress test. By the way, G16 and 4090 was able to come to senses only at 4K. Let's go next. Lost Planet 2. Very similar picture. Close to bottleneck even on 2.5K Ultra. G14 with Ryzen CPU runs laps over Intel 185H. Up to 30% boost for my new build compared to laptop. And 4K resolution. Impressive. low quality is reaching CPU's max potential. On medium quality preset, I see 54% boost. By the way, I played this game on this Intel, but only with Nvidia GTX 660. So many nostalgic memories. And I want to ask one very important question. Can it run Crysis? Crysis Remastered. Up to 30% more performance on Ultra. On more heavy games, GPU is more important, even on low resolutions. So, only 11% boost if I will use medium presets to reach for a 230Hz display. Okay, I see big 37% boost on Ultra, and even low settings give 31% increase. Nice! I can play on high-resolution monitors or use mid-tier virtual reality headsets. 62% on a laptop is a borderline toaster level and will give dizziness and headaches in VR. So, we clearly can see that it can run Crysis, but there is even more critical and important question that needs to be answered. Can it run Minecraft? Base game, shaders and distant horizons. Minecraft is an equilibrium of hardware use. And whoa, those CPU numbers on low settings are insane. Imagine all the coil whine you will get while power supply and GPU tries to draw all those frames. And on 1080p, both my laptop and this new desktop have more FPS with shaders than my old M1 Pro and Max without the shaders. Insane! And 46% boost on ultra settings with shaders and distant horizons. Let me turn off low settings to get better perspective. Apple MacBooks could not run with shaders and horizons mode at the same time, no matter how much I tried and how many versions I changed. It is what it is. Now let's pump it up even more. 4K and 8K resolutions. Whoa! 270K plus renders the same amount of frames on 4K than laptop on 2K, which is not so far by the way. Only 18% difference. More than 500 frames on 8K, and on 8K performance, thanks. MacBooks do not have an ability to run 8K resolutions at all, by design. Let me remove low settings for clarity. 8K destroys almost all the hardware. Mid-tier VR headsets are doable, but 8K high-end VR goggles are way out of the reach at this price bracket. Tomb Raider. I really love this game both for CPU and GPU stress. For my first impressions and first impressions only, I will add trace effects for realistic hair effect in addition on top of ultra settings. And oh my Overlord! Up to 40% improvements on low and medium, and freaking 230% boost in ultra settings. Now I can proudly say, this is why you built a desktop. 2.3 times boost is no joke. But do you need it though? Even G14 on mobile 4070 can give 240 FPS if you use high to medium settings instead of full ultra. Heck, even 2012 Intel and GTX 1660 Super $200 build can do this on 1440p. Oh, very impressive. But do you really need all that? 4K and 8K. Now I take my words back. I see why I need all that. Even at 4K low settings, chart is out of control. Lumao. You can actually use 4K 480Hz monitor on medium settings and try out good VR headsets. Let me try and shrink down the charts for more clarity. And almost nothing has changed. Because of how many frames Intel 270K Plus and 4070 Ti Super can give on 4K medium. It has the same amount of frames on 8K as G14 on 4K. Cool. More demanding game from my hard test list. First one among 5 others. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. And 25%, 27% boost. Very solid. But modern 2025-2026 laptops are still rocking lots of powers. Especially considering all-in-one, very slim and portable package. By the way, I was right when I told that it feels like MacBooks have mobile GTX 1650 graphical powers. And now I have proven it to myself. I want to try MacBook M5 Air or base M5, but afraid to make the same mistake. Now 4K and 8K resolutions. And you know, 35% boost from laptop. Cool, alright, take a candy. But it is only 66 FPS on 4K Ultra. One may say that I want too much, but please understand, it is 2026. Price is out of control. Nvidia was talking about 8K gaming during freaking 2000 series of RTX in their marketing materials. So yes, I'm very critical, but there are reasons. And I do not think that I want too much. On the contrary, I feel like I'm very reasonable and asking for bare minimum. This build is more than $2,500. And realistically, if I was not so lucky to find these components for such steal of a deal, it would cost $3,500 minimum. On 8K resolution, anything less than 8 gigs of VRAM crashed hard. Ultra presets was not able to run on most of them. G14 even has less performance than 1660 Super with 6 gigs of VRAM. What a pity. 8K is tough and looks like still playing demanding AAA games on a high-end 8K VR headsets and goggles like Pimax 8K will be way out of reach for general public for a reasonable price for a very long time. I am sad. So that's pretty much it. Am I pleased with Intel 270K Plus and this desktop in general? I'm very torn, 50-50. Most of the benefits I see comes explicitly from RTX 4070 Ti Super. Most of the time I see only around 10% boost compared to more affordable laptops. Like here in Blender Fluid Simulation. Or here 5% in Davinci Stabilization. Sometimes there were literally no difference like Capture One Export. Sometimes programs like After Effects are a total mess and results were all over the place. And sometimes my laptop pulled ahead, like noise reduction in Audacity. There is a pleasant boost in Davinci timeline performance for basic tasks on full resolution. The biggest and noticeable performance increase came in 3D Sphere. It is 3 times more powerful in rendering and is a lot faster than mobile RTX 4090. Synthetic gaming shows up to 50% boost, and it really feels. Most of the graphically demanding games really showed up 30 to 50% FPS increase. And massive 200+% increase in some cases, like Tomb Raider. But saying all that, there is still a limit of what you can achieve, and on some resolutions, you will hit a wall, even in 4K. If I lower the resolution or play at high to medium settings instead of pure ultra, and especially if I lock the frame rate to 240 or even 120 Hz, there will literally be no point in such powerful GPU. Unfortunately, Nvidia is out of their minds and still, in 2026, offers 16 gigs of VRAM like it is something luxurious.
The more you buy, the more you save.
And 8K performance drops, making high-end virtual reality headset oculars impossible to use, even at this not cheap at all price range. So I will run this build through the full, real Alien computer testing. And unfortunately, probably will sell it. As much as I love it, I enjoy portability and compact size a lot more. I can easily take laptop with me anywhere I want, in one small bag, on the first seat of my car. And these powerful but huge and bulky setups looks like are going to the end of their life cycle. People nowadays are not even interested in laptops. Most of the people do everything on their smartphones. Videos on a phone, edit them on the same phone, post it online from the same phone, play games and work on the phone. They take photos on a garbage selfie camera, the most weak sensor and lens inside the smartphone. But they are still happy and do not give a single damn about large mirrorless cameras or huge bulky desktops that you have to build yourself and have to have some technological knowledge, with the possibility to mess up something in the process. But I'm a techno guy and will continue to build and test desktops. Maybe Ryzen 7800 X3D is next. With any other GPU? What do you think? Thank you my friends for watching. Check out my Patreon to support videos like this. Let me know what you feel. Have a very cosmic day.